How many times have you ever tried to make a robot for your short animation and you thought this would drop the jaw of the Hollywood directors, but you couldn't do it and your animation turned like this?
But
Why? Because of a small detail. Adding small details to mesh is so complicated or heavy or time-consuming. But today we are going through the process of making a robot for short animation. After that, I'll teach you 2 tricks to improve your hard surface models. So let's dive in. A quick review of how I modeled my robot. First, I found a couple of references that define the overall shape of the robot. Then turned them into blockout, which are actually boxes and simple raw shapes. Never skip the blockout part, you'll be regretted.
I will find you. And I will delete your Blender project file.
When I was happy with the result, I turned the blockout to high poly models, which is easy because I only modeled the half of top part and half of one leg, and also I just use solidify and bevel for most of the parts. But using bevel also can be tricky. How? Let me show you. We heard that our model should be all in quad, but being in quad is not always enough. I'm going to show you common problem, then solve it on this cube. Then we are going to use it to make a perfect hole.
Nice.
This box is all in quad, but as soon as I add a bevel, we can see some problem here. We have some stretch here and some squeeze here. I'm always using the arc method for geometry. Now you can see it better. And also we have the same problem on this corner too. So how we can solve it? By increase the segment number on 2, you can see the middle one is pointing where it should be connected. And if I dissolve this edge, you can see it's pointing here. So the solution is you have to prevent direct connection between corners. Okay, firstly, I'm turning off the bevel to have better view. Then to prevent direct connection between all the corners in the top, I add an inset, something like this. And now if I turn on the bevel, it works well. Let's decrease the number to make it good. Now as you can see, the edge made by inset is exactly where this edge is pointing. And this was what we wanted. It was easy, wasn't it? Okay, I select this part of the robot and bring it into a new file, delete some parts to make a new hole in it, and with the guide and without guide to see the difference between them. Okay, in first step, I'm choosing a knife and start cutting exactly in front of each vertex. I'm adding a vertex and easily connect them by this trick. For adjusting the circle we made, I'm using GG or double G to move the vertex along one of the edges that connected to the vertex. And if it's not perfectly circle, don't worry, it's still working well. And now let's connect the circle vertices to the corners. This is what we made so far. For this one, I'm connecting directly the edges to the corner. Now let's extrude it. This is what we made so far, and now it's time to add a bevel. Decrease the amount to something logic. And now this is the one we made with the guardian edge. The bevel looks so decent and uniform, but this one is not look good. This is the difference between having a guardian edge and not having guardian edge. Add a subdivision surface. Put it on 2. We can see some shading errors on these corners, and we can easily fix them by dissolving these edges. Now it's fixed. As you can see, this side of the cylinder that subtracted from the main part looks so soft, and this side is so pinched. If I want to have a uniform shape all around the circle, let's turn off all these modifiers and delete these faces. Okay, first step is to delete the inner part and close it and fill the gap. Then use extrude face along normals and have a little extrude along the normal. Then add another extrude on the x-axis. Scale x 0 to make it straight. So turn on bevel and turn on subdivision surface. Auto smooth. Inset and at center. Okay. Now we have a uniform shape around the hole. For this error, it's because of the bevel. We have bevel here. We can increase the angle to something like 46. Perfect. And now it's uniform. For adding small details instead of model them, I decide to paint them. We can paint the hard surface details on the Hight map too. This method is faster and uses less VRAM than modeling, and also it's not single time use. We made about 200 hard surface alpha map that you can use them in Blender, ZBrush and Substance Painter. But you can have the robot model, the environment, and a free sample of those alpha maps for free. All the links are in description. For painting details, first we have to unwrap the model. I'm personally using Unfold 3D, but Blender Smart UV project surprisingly works well. So first go to edit mode and press 3, then select all the polygons. Now press U and choose Smart UV project. Just set the island margin on 0.002 and leave everything on default value. Then press OK. In UV editor, make a new texture and name it correctly, please. For dimension, I make it 4K. And for color, because we are going to work on displays, we have to set the value on 0.5. And also check the 32-bit float. And at the end, press OK. I did the same step for the top part too. So let's make a shader in shader editor, connect our Hight map to displays and make sure it's selected. Now I set the viewport in texture paint mode. In texture mask, first I press new, then I press this one to show the texture in texture tab. Then I set the mask mapping on view plane. In texture properties, I import an alpha texture and set the mapping to clip. Set the stroke to dot and fall off to constant. One more single thing to do is in toolpart set the mode to single image and choose our Hight map texture to paint just on it. And now let's have fun. In the middle I add an HDRI map to check what I have done. And when I was happy with the result, I copied the leg. I did the same steps for body, and after 20 minutes, this is the result.